Okay. So in the last session, we talked about the load balancer. Okay. And now we will continue with CDN. So CDN stand for Content Delivery Network. Okay. And it is a quite popular or quite famous in the industry right now because of the two things. It's save the maybe it save the server cost to process the data, and also it reduce the network latency. So if I talk about the cloud CDN, basically it uses the Google's global edge network to serve a content closer to the user, and then and it so it and also it offload the origin and what I can say, upload the origin and processing, save the processing cost. So basically, when user require data from any server, the request goes to the server, then server take the request, it read the request, and again it reply back to the user. So if the user is from India location, for example, and is trying to access the server at US location, so that takes some time to request to reach to the user server, and then it get a response, right? Every time server has to process that request, so it takes time process if server is process the request, and it also incur some cost. So that's why CDN come in a picture, where if user is trying to access a particular data, that time first time the request goes to the backend server, that is we call origin, and the request when request return path, when request come to the user, that time CDN will cache that data. And the next time, if any other user trying to access the same data, that cloud CDN will help to serve that data on a faster rate. So here a lot of things have come in the picture. Okay, we'll talk about that. Okay, with
Okay.
Google CDN, it works with a load balancer. It doesn't work single-handedly. So if I show you one diagram, it will help a lot to understand it. So right now CDN feature is enabled with HTTP load balancer also. So basically, if you already have a load balancer, you have to enable the CDN. So what will happen when user trying to access the data to the from the server, the request will go to CDN first. The request will go to the edge location. The edge is nothing but a point of presence. It will look in CDN cache. If the cache is empty, then it will reach to the HTTP load balancer. And load balancer will send a request to the backend server to pull a data, and then the data will get stored in CDN. Okay, and then the edge location will send that data to the server, to the customer. So that is they call as a cache hit. So this entire process, first time when the data is getting processed, that time they call is cache hit. Okay, and if the CDN doesn't have that data with within the cache, then they also call it cache miss. Means the cache is not available. That's why they call it cache miss. Okay, and after that, if for example one person from India access the data, and the data get received from the CDN, next time some other person from China location accessing the same data, so that time when the request comes to the CDN will not go back to the HTTP load balancer. So CDN will do, CDN will check the nearby cache. If the nearby cache, the same data is available, then CDN cache will fill the data. Okay, we pull the data from that nearby cache, and from there it will serve to the end customer. So this is how the data get filled. Okay, so that is a common the terminology they mentioned about the cache fill, cache miss, cache hit. Okay, cache hit means sending the data back to customer. Okay, the cache miss means the first time the request comes to the CDN doesn't have any kind of data to serve to the customer, then it will go back to the origin. So that process called, they call is cache fill. Okay, and then always every cache has some expiry. So they use the cache control to control the expiry of the data. Okay, and then there is a one more terminology they call is cache ingress. So when the data goes to the in customer, then the data is going out from the your Google network, right? So that is they call as a cache ingress. Why I'm telling this term to you guys, because this is additional cost. You when you even though using the CDN is not very straightforward for you. What you're the what your action happening from the server side, from the CDN side, the cache ingress, cache hit, cache miss, every has some kind of cost behind it. Okay, so initially you have to also consider that cost. Okay, the cost is not very high, but as a vendor, when you are serving the data to customer, you have to configure it. You have to pay additional amount to the Google also for it. Okay, and then one more thing is that basically when the data reach to the when the CDN first time server data, right? The when the request comes to the edge location look into the CDN, right? So that time what edge location does, edge location use some cache key. Key is nothing but kind of filter. So next time, so what will happen with every request? There is some kind of key getting generated. This key will help to send the data on a faster rate to the customer. So it save the round trip of the data. Okay. So cache key is also very important here. Sometimes some companies or some vendors use a custom key. Sometimes they use a default key as well. It's up to them how they want to serve the data to the customer. Okay. Then we'll move to the next slide, which I have made it. So in this, so now if you talk about CDN, there is a three way to do the serve the to serve or to cache the data. Okay, what is the possibility? My data could be on my VM, right? So that is a so basically, if any customer wanted to access the data needs to the request need to go to the backend server. So that could be my VM. Okay, or the possibility is that I have some image, some videos uploaded to my Bitbucket I'm saying cloud storage. So that time CDN will be used for that purpose as well, for using the for storing for accessing the data from cloud storage. Or there is a possibility that my data couldn't be available on cloud storage on Google Cloud. The CDN also works for some cases where data is stored where the data is stored into the on-premise server or any other cloud. So that time they use the external origin. So there is three way to configure the CDN. Okay. So first I will talk about the load balancer, that is instance group. Okay. So I already created that, so I can show you that over here. If I go back to the my CDN, okay, load balancer. So in load balancer, when I enable the CDN, I have to do some configuration, which I can show you right now, right away. So in this, okay, in the backend configuration. So basically, load balancer, you have to configure the backend configuration, host and path rules, and the front end configuration. So if I go to the backend configuration over here, I have to enable the CDN. Can you see this? I have to enable CDN if I want to leverage the CDN functionality with the load balancer. So it also helps the load balancer to serve on a faster basis to the customer. So CDN, it will do? It will enable CDN and it will cache the data. Okay, and there's a different cache mode. Cache static. You can use the origin also, or you can use the force to cache all content. Okay, this is a way you can enable your CDN and set up the and configure the cache, how you want to store a cache. And then there is a key also available over here. If you see this, you can see the default key and custom key. So custom key based on your protocol, host, and query. So for example, they want to save the cache key based on the host, then only you have to enable the host. If you want to set up a query, you can set up a query, or else you can enable the protocol. So cache key is nothing but to increase the rate to send the data to customer. Okay, and if I select the first one, static content, then I have to give the timeline, a time window. Okay, to serve the customer. So maximum time to live is 1 day. So basically, 1 day means my cache expiry could be for 1 day only. Okay, after 1 day, my cache will be removed from the CDN. Okay, I have different option over here. I can even set for 1 minute also. It's nothing like it. You have to set it for 1 day. There's a different option they have given you to cache a data for a particular time. Okay, so this is very simple and straightforward, that where you are enabling the CDN for load balancer. Okay, without load balancer, you can't enable the CDN. Okay, Then what next? Okay, so next is that if I go back to my slide, right, the next is the storage bucket. So basically I'm giving a demo where I'm keeping one picture in store bucket, okay, storage bucket, and from there I will access that data. Okay, so let me show you that. Let me create one new load balancer here. Over here I'm enabling the HTTPS load balancer, and then you have to use the first option, from internet to my VM. Continue. Okay, here I need to give a name. Name could be LB uh, LB bucket 01. Okay. I have to click on the bucket configuration. Over here I have to select the bucket. Okay, I have to select the backend bucket. I have to select a new bucket. So right now I don't have any bucket, so I can't directly go here. Okay, but so before that I can show you how to create a bucket. That is a very important part. So I will not touch this one first. I will create a bucket first, and then I will show you. Then I will configure the backend configuration. Okay, let me go back to uh, bucket part. Let me storage. Okay. Okay, storage browser. Okay, over here I will create one bucket. Okay, because in bucket I will be using the backend over here. So bucket name is a bucket um, 11 October. Okay, 20. Continue. Multi-region. Fine. I will set as a default one standard. Okay. Fine grain uniform. I will take a uniform. Encryption. I will not do anything here. I will just click on create. Okay. So now my bucket is getting created. Okay. Now my bucket is getting created. Now I have to upload one file for this demo. Let me click on this. Let me upload the file. Okay. I'm uploading the one picture from here. Okay. I will take this picture. Okay. I'm uploaded one picture over here. Okay. And then let me, this bucket is not public, right? If I want to configure this bucket for my load balancer or for my CDN, I have to make it public. So for making it public, I have to again click on this permission. Okay, I have to go here. You can see this is not public. So to make a public, they mention that you have to enable the or provide access to all user. So I'm doing that right away. Okay, I'm clicking on add all user. Okay, providing the permission of cloud storage, cloud bucket object viewer. Okay, by making this, by doing this, I'm making this bucket is the public. Okay, it will tell me that what is the possibility of this. Okay, so I want to go with the public access. Okay, now my bucket is public. Okay, let me go back here. Okay, see, you can see public to internet. It is now public to internet, right? Let me click on here. You can see the data. See, you can see all the public URLs. You can see the authenticated URL. You can see the URI as well. Okay. Now let me go back here again. Let me click on this bucket, backend bucket. I have to create a new bucket over here. See, I have to give a name, backend bucket name, bucket backend. Okay. Now browse your new bucket which you just now created. Click on this 11 October 20. Select. Okay, and then I have to enable the CDN. Okay. Similarly, I have to just go for recommended option. I can also set the origin as well if I want, and then let me click on create. Okay, now a bucket will be created. Host path also set over here, and then I have to give a front end configuration. Over here, I have to again give a name, front end bucket. Okay, 01. Okay. HTTP, I will keep HTTP because I don't have any certificate right now, and I will keep a imperial IP address. I will not do a static public IP. I will use a temporary public IP, and then I have to click on done. Okay, then I have to just click on create. This is how my load balancer will be created based on the bucket and CDN enabled. Okay, so it takes some time. Let me refresh it. Okay, so it is getting created, right? You can see this bucket one is created. Let me click on this. Okay, it is just getting created. So let me give some time to this. Okay, so once you are creating this, see now the everything is getting created. If you go back to networking, and you can see the CDN, you can see the new CDN configuration over here. See, now the configuration is getting created. You can see this. Okay, but if you click on this again, you will go back to the that load balancer only. Okay, and now this is configure. All right, I have to just what the next step is that I have to just take the IP address. Okay, I have to just take IP address and I will see whether it is getting I can access that or not. Okay, so IP bucket 01, take the IP from here. Okay, okay, what is the name of my image? This is the name of my image. Okay, let me take this image name. Okay, it is getting generated, so it will take some time. Okay, give us more time. Okay, so before that, do you have any question, Yogesh, particularly regarding this?
Sagar,
Huh.
you said that CDN has to get configured, right? It means every time it's not get by default created, na? Right?
No.
We
It
have
is
to come configure.
because there is additional cost for it. CDN is just to use a caching mechanism. So if you want to use a caching mechanism, you have to enable it. It doesn't come as a by default. Okay. See the cache. The good point about the CDN is that it uses the POP location or it will use the edge location. So basically, the network is spread across the globe. So whenever any person try to connect to the Google Cloud, the request will goes to the POP location first. Okay. So that time CDN will come in picture. If you already enable CDN, so based on your location, the POP will take action. The POP will send a request to the nearby POP. Okay. If the cache is available, and that nearby POP will send data back to you. So the round trip will get reduced automatically. So that is a good point about it. And there is a no backend. There is a no load on your backend server. So it process the request every time. That is the main purpose.
Okay. Same thing is used in AWS and Azure.
Yes. CDN is a very common for all everywhere. Okay, CDN because even though if you hit any newspaper site, for example, if you access a newspaper, you can see the URL. You will see that the URL contains the CDN concept. CDN is they also use CDN because the newspaper is not only for one country. It could be it could be used by other country as well. So that time the static content, the newspaper is static again. It doesn't have any dynamic value. So that static content they store in one cloud storage, and from there they enable the CDN. So whoever access the newspaper online, that person get the nearby POP. The nearby POP will be used to send the data to that customer, to that user. This is how it works. Okay.
You're saying nearby POP means how much area it is covered, means it something defined or?
See, defined in the sense, what is that? If you see let me, it is getting configured. So, okay. So over here, if I go back to my previous slide, right? So, see, this dots is called edge point. See the dots. So every country, if you see, they have some kind of point of presence. So if the
Okay.
country from that country trying to access the data, so that the request will goes to POP first. The POP will not send data directly to the Google Cloud. Okay, the POP what will do, it will check, POP will check whether that request going to particular server, that's, I would say, load balancer, for example. The load balancer has a cache enabled. Yes, cache enabled. Then automatically the request will route to other cache. The CDN, when you goes to request goes to CDN, see, it will check the other cache if the data is available for another cache or not. Okay, first time. If it is available in other cache, then the data will be get access from that nearby cache and send it to the customer directly. So your backend will not be in use or not be in picture anywhere in this process. So the POP, because every time when you send any network traffic to any country, the network traffic will go to hit a POP first. Okay, and from the POP, the data will get transferred. So for example, if one customer in India send any data to US, okay, so that data will go from the Google network, it will reach to POP of that country, and from that POP the data will get transferred to that particular customer in US. This is how it works. Okay, see, the picture is come. Okay, so now I have to check whether my whether it's hitting the CDN or not. So what I can do over here, I can go back to my monitoring service. Okay, I can go to the monitoring service, this monitoring service overview, and I can check the heat, right? Okay, so now this picture is getting access, right? The next time, if you are trying to access this URL, you will not, that request will not go back to the cloud storage. The request will be handled by CDN only, or from the edge only. Okay, so let me click on login. See, if you see this, let me refresh it one more time. Getting process. See, can you see this data? See.
Yes.
So everything getting access over here. So you will see that the request is going to CDN, from CDN to bucket. Okay, and then it is getting reverted back to the customer. Okay, this is how it's very simple actually. Okay, but you have to understand that you have to configure it. So only I can see here is that when you are accessing it, for example, when you go back here, so you have, this is the complete structure I am shown here. Let me click on presentation mode. Okay. Okay, so here you can see, right, the every request when the request will go from user over the internet on HTTPS. CDN it will go to the edge location, then it will go to CDN. CDN will send a request to your load balancer. Okay, so load balancer will check his backend. What is the backend? Backend could be your VM, or backend could be your bucket, or the backend could be your third party server or the on-premise server. So this is how the request will go to the backend server, and from there the request will go to your origin, and from that origin the request will be, the data will be sent back to the your your load balancer, and then when the request will go from the load balancer to the CDN, that time it will get cache over here, and then it will serve to the user. So when the new customer will come, access the same data, CDN will handle that. CDN will not again come back to your LB, load balancer. So from over here only, data get access and data will get served to the customer. So it save the network latency, the which I told earlier. It save the server cost, because if server is processing that request, then server has to maybe server that your entire cost of your server will get increased. Okay, you don't want to increase the cost of your server every time, because you know the data is again common data. The image or video, static content, it can be easily accessible through CDN. Why people need to go to the backend server to process that data? So that is the main purpose of the CDN.